Hello and welcome to the Chasing Goals podcast. You're here, as always, with Nugget. Super excited about today's show. There's no guest. It's just a rundown of how my goals are going at the moment. The reason why we started this podcast, I'm chasing that 200 kilogram deadlift and a sub 7-minute 2K'er on the same day. We're getting close. We're about 3 weeks out until the session, so super excited about that. So over the last probably 4 or 5 weeks, we've had four different guests on the podcast. So I'm just here on our YouTube channel here, the Chasing. If you haven't seen it before, it's the Chasing Goals podcast. I'll get it up now so we can see how we're going. Make sure, as always, to subscribe to it's a butcher. It's subscribe to the podcast or subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. So we're all ready to go. But yeah, so we had Katie on the podcast first. That was a great episode. She's a powerlifter, kind of just got into it over the past year or so, or probably a bit longer, maybe 2 years now. She's loving it. She's hooked on powerlifting. It was a great chat. And then we had Mordo on. He was a photographer for the CrossFit Games. We got into some good chats about what he's doing there, how he got into CrossFit. Quite a good story. That's part one. We'll have a part two hopefully coming out soon where he talks more about his role in the government and photographing that sort of stuff. He went over to Ukraine and filmed a bit of the war and saved a few people from his country and all that sort of stuff. So that was quite an interesting chat. So looking forward to getting him back on for part two as well. Then we had Jess Clark on, another powerlifter. Katie got us onto her, so thank you so much for that, Katie. And Jess, powerlifter, she just won the World Championship. I think I'll click into it just so we can see what it was. She won the APWC World Championship, and she totaled 420 kilos for her 3 lifts. So that's the deadlift, the squat, and the bench. Quite impressive. I think it was 69 kilos. Hopefully I haven't got that wrong. Sorry, Jess, if I got that wrong, but very impressive stuff. And then the last one we had on was Jared, a movement coach. He's opened up a new gym over in Thailand, Koh Samui, I think it was. He's loving it over there, but that was a great chat. A lot of insight, all about how we move our body. We got deep into why he journals. We had some good solid chats there. So yeah, it's been a good month of guests. Looking forward to the next month, getting some more quality guests on. But what I want to get into now is just breaking down where I'm at in my training. So we'll go into wave 4, if we can see here. So this is just our strength component of our training so far. So what I'm doing for the 200 kilogram deadlift. So we'll start off wave 4. So I've kind of broken it down now into 2 lower body sessions and then 1 upper body session. So that's the upper body is more just for maintenance, keeping some sort of muscle tone up or size and the muscle there. And then the 2 lower sessions, obviously just to help with the deadlift, help with the running, all that sort of thing. So we started off probably usually on a Monday. So usually I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, depending how I'm feeling. So a lower heavy session, changed it up a little bit, warmed up with some calf raises and some tibialis holds. And then we got into a dumbbell split squat. So that was quite challenging. So what we were doing there, 3x5, so a heavy session. If you're doing heavy, I'd say to keep the rep range between 1 to 5. I feel like once you get into that 6 area, we're probably starting to focus more on hypertrophy and that sort of thing. So if you're looking to, if you want to do a heavy deadlift or anything like that, keep it to 1 to 5 reps. Training in that range. Obviously, if we're looking to build muscle and you can kind of supplement a hyper, you might do one, Monday might be a heavy deadlift where your rep range is between 1 and 3. Friday, you might have a another deadlift session where you're doing 8 to 10 reps or whatever you're doing. So, but I'm keeping the heavy session with like my main kind of lift or my main focus. That was the split squat. There we had 4 or 5. So, going to the split squat, getting the pogo jumps in as well. So that's just kind of 2 feet hitting the ground, super quick, jumping back up and minimizing the time of contact of your feet on the ground. So you imagine if my feet are hitting the ground, it's as fast as I can. Usually do it with straight legs and just hitting the ground and getting back up as fast as you can. So started off with low ones to kind of get used to the jumps the first week, and then just moved to some higher ones, as high as I could get with the quickest amount of, I guess, contact on the ground. Then we moved into some concentric Nordics. And while we're here, I've been doing these Nordics. I've been chasing a little side goal of Nordics for a while. And that's in the... I've always wanted to do a full Nordic. Almost there. I've got a Instagram video that I might get up. See if we can get into our Instagram here. Let's see how we go. Hopefully I don't have to log in front of everyone. But what I'll do, I'll get up a video of kind of me and where I was at with my Nordics. So probably halfway through last year, and just see the progression that I've made since then. It's just consistency, nothing special. Just obviously a lot of Nordics involved, but just being consistent with that with our Nordics. So I've kind of piled all these videos together. So if you're watching on the YouTube, you'll be able to see kind of where I started here and what we're looking at. If you're on the Spotify or any of the audio channels, is just I've got a green band wrapped around my waist, tied up to a barbell, and then I'm going to 2 blocks. I'm not going all the way down to the ground. I'm going to 2 blocks and coming back up. So that's probably the easiest one you can do, because you've obviously got that resistance that's pulling you back up. Did that for a while. Then I moved on to I just lowered the band. So kept the height the same, just made it with a purple band this time. And then that one allowed me to, just kind of increase where I was at. It's measurable. It's always 2 blocks. And what have we done? We've lost the band. So we've gone from a green band, which is the thickest, to a purple band, which is probably the second thickest out of the lot there. Started to incorporate some high block, just concentric Nordics, if you can see here. So I'd almost probably start, if I had to, I'd start on the concentric Nordics first. So let's say you've never done Nordics before. I'd start on the concentric Nordics first. There was just, I feel like there's less tissue damage and you like less DOMs doing it that way if you went straight into your Nordics holding it like the eccentric part, so the lowering phase. So I'd recommend, so a tip there would be start with the concentric for the first 3 or 4 weeks, do it once a week, maybe build up, and then on your second phase of when you get into your Nordics, do the eccentric part, but I'd keep the reps low. So I'd even say 3 to 4, and then call it. Do three sets, 4 sets. This is if you're a beginner and getting into it, because they do it's quite a toll on your hammies, and the hammies can be sore for a while. So if you want to learn from me there, I've had some sore hammies over the year, so that's just a little tip. Then moved into a little bit lower. So once again, went back to the green band, but I've lowered the block. So we're getting lower with our Nordic. We're almost all the way down. And then this is just good to have a block there because it's just measurable. Once you start getting good at the concentric Nordics, so you start really high, so 4 or 5 blocks. And as you get better, so I started with 5. And now here I'm down to 3 blocks, and these ones are moving pretty well, just like that. Obviously, I had some other hamstring work in there, RDLs, hammy curls with a band, normal hammy curls lying down, standing hammy curls with the monkey foot that I've got downstairs. So a lot of different hammy work. So normally I'd have a Nordic on one of the sessions on the Monday or the Friday, and then, or some sort of Nordic, and then another hamstring one that might be like shortening the muscle rather than lengthening. So maybe something like a like a hamstring curl or something like that. So there, and then this one here was just the other day, just so you can just see kind of the difference now. So I've gone from using using bands and a block to here. I've added some weight to my eccentric phase here. So I'm holding a 5 kilo plate. So once again, just adding resistance. It's measurable. Once I feel like I can get this, I can go to a 10 kilo plate, or I can up the weight, up the reps, or whatever I want to do with it. See how I'm feeling. But here we go. So just lowering down as slow as I can, dropping it right at the end so I don't face plant. But these felt pretty good considering where I've come from and how it's kind of how it's improved. And the boys in the background, I know I'm filming and the lads are talking garbage in the background there. So that's just good stuff. But yeah, the Nordics are feeling really good, and it's awesome to see the progress. That's what's good if you film yourself doing that sort of thing, or film yourself at the start of when you start something to where you are now. You can kind of see the progression. There I am. I'm not happy with the boys there in my shot. That's just good stuff. Let's see if I can get to the Instagram account. I'm not on the right one here. So Chasing Goals podcast. No, that's not my best effort. But yeah, so the Nordics are going really well, which is great. And this is the end result. So this is probably about maybe a month ago. So before I even added the extra weight on my Nordics. And remember, I've got the Chasing Goal podcast Instagram. Give us a follow. Say hi. Ask me a question if you want. But yeah, so here we go. This is the end result of the Nordic, the year and a half training. Maybe I had the weakest hammies when I first started this. All the way down. I'll see if I can get the you can see it on our Instagram, but it's quite funny. I can't get the sound on it, but yeah, it's quite funny. But so lower down, all the way down. So it's probably not the perfect Nordic. This is the first one I've ever done, so I might give it another go in a month and just see where we're at. Might film it again, but they felt really good, and the body's feeling good. So we'll head back to the trainings, what I was doing. So the Nordics are going well. That was just off the one block by the looks of it. And then we've got the knees over toes, barbell squat. I actually have that here somewhere. Where were we? Nah, that's not it. There it is. This is the knee over bar. So this is more just for our just working on the one range of motion. I've got the hooks here to help with the form. So it's the front squat, the front squat with the knees over the toes on a foot wedge. So just getting low, getting that range of motion, but also getting, as I've said, I Ben Patrick, knees over toes guy. I've been doing that sort of stuff, and my knees are feeling great. Body's feeling great. So yeah, that's just that one in the books there. Get rid of this, get rid of that. And then we did some low jumps. These I saw these jumps. It was just from on Instagram. This I wonder if I can get that one up. Bend, what's his name? Bend the bounce. I'm not going to be able to find it, but yeah, just another. Oh, there we go. Boom. Bend the bounce here. He's got some really cool stuff. He's a very explosive dude. But yeah, so I saw these guys do that, and I just thought I'd add it to the. Here we go. Add it to to the repertoire, just something I hadn't done before, keeping it. So we had some deep plyos. There we go. Elasticity and deep ranges of motion while developing pelvic girdle stability. So there it is. So those are the two ones I was doing. And that was for the lower body session. We'll move on. So we had the upper body session. Just, as I said, just keep maintaining just some sort of strength in the upper body. Some standing shoulder press, barbell bent over rows. Did some calf raises as well in there. Just a green band push up. So just putting a band over the back, stretching into your hands and pushing up, just adding resistance in your push up. Lateral raises, full range of motion, some explosive sled pushes, dumbbell bicep curls. And then the other lower body, backward sled. Always like to do one backward sled a week, maybe two. Once again, great for your knees. So I always keep them in there. Did some more calf raises, tibialis raise with the kettlebell. And then for the heavy deadlift part, obviously I'm chasing that 200 kilo deadlift over the journey. So over probably the last 16 weeks or however long we've been training for, maybe 12 weeks, we've done normal deads. We've done elevated, so where our feet are above the bar. So we had to incorporate more of a leg drive. So this phase I did barbell on the block. So the barbell was a little bit higher, so it's reducing the leg drive and focusing more on that lower back part and the top part or the top portion of our deadlift. So I'd work up to a heavy set. I got up to 180 there. So this is just obviously just one, and then we kept progressing from there. I think I got up to 185, 2x2. I'd usually get up to there, do 2x2 at 180, 185, and then I'd come back down. And as you can see, I'd just do a final set of 5 around that 150 to 160, just to get a little bit of volume in there as well. Got some sled sprints in there. Want to keep bouncy. Want to keep as fit and as athletic as possible as I progress. I am now 31, so I'm getting older. So got to keep using those muscle groups, or we'll lose them. There we go. The hammy curls. So that was just the opposite. So did the Nordic on the Monday. On the Friday, we did some hammy curls and the green band hip flexors. Great, another one for running. You want to, as obviously when you run, we're picking up our hips. So just training our hip flexors there, and then just some pogo hops on the one leg. So that was wave 4. Went really well. The deadlift is feeling really good. I feel like 200 kilos is definitely in the repertoire. So we're just focusing on our running. Running's been going well. We've touched on some running and kind of how I've structured the running. We're doing roughly about 3 weeks of zone 2. I'm pretty sure it's zone 2, but around 140 to 152 heart rate. So try to keep that heart rate in between 140 and 152. Do about maybe on a Monday or a Tuesday, usually probably a Tuesday, I do 40-minute zone 2 heart rate. On the Friday, I'll do just a shorter one, maybe 25 to 30 minutes. And then on the Saturday, I'll probably do 45 to 50. Just trying to get those miles in. They say that's that's how to train to, get better aerobically. So I've been doing that. And then once a week on a Thursday night, some high intensity or more high intensity running. So for the past 3 weeks, we've been doing 2 minutes on, 1 minute off, and seeing how far we can get. So for those ones, we started with 8 the first week, then we did 9, then we did 10 sets, and I was averaging about 515 meters per 2 minutes, which is not too bad considering we're doing 10. I worked out roughly I need to be doing 580 meters for every 2 minutes. I think that was, yes, that's what it was. So I need to be doing 580 meters for every 2 minutes of running to get our goal. So for 10 at 520, for the 2 minute runs, not too bad. Obviously, we're not going at full pelt because that there's 10 sets, and the 1 minute rest is not much, so you're still quite fatigued when you start again. So yeah, just getting that volume in there, but also working hard. And tonight we're heading down for another high intensity running sesh to finish off. So we've got probably 2 more of these before the run. So I really want to make sure I'm doing high end speed above what I need to be running. So these will be shorter in distance, but higher in speed for these last 2 high intensity ones. So where I'm at the running, it's going to be touch and go. Hopefully we get a good day. You're going to head down to a running track. We'll get it filmed and we'll just give it our all for the running. That's always been what I've been worried about in this challenge. So we'll see how we go there. We'll finish off today's chat. I've added some stretching into my training. I was listening to, I think it's the Huberman podcast, and they reckon that's where they were just talking about stretching and how important it is to stretch, and pretty well just what is the fastest way to improve your flexibility, and kind of not overdo it and all that sort of stuff. And they found out that if you just do roughly 1 minute of stretching on a muscle group 5 times a week, you can see quite good results. So that's what I've been doing. This was the stretching for the first part. So I did about 5 weeks of this. So hip flexors, 30 seconds each side, equaling a minute. Pancake stretch, calf stretch, same deal. Always do 30 seconds on each. If it's a one-legged one, you're doing 30 seconds each side. If it's a 2, or if you're doing both of the muscle groups at the same time, let's say your groins or something like that, for the pancake stretch, it's just 30 seconds twice. So it's pigeon pose. Did it, and I put a couple together. So it'd be I was doing child pose, lying chest stretch, lying back twist, cobra pose, wrist stretch, standing side stretch. I'll take a video of my stretching routine and chuck it up maybe on the YouTube channel or the Instagram as well, so you can see how that goes. And then now I've just moved into wave 2 of that. So changed up the exercises and just doing some couch stretch on the bench, some Hossack holds, rotating frog holds, overhead bent arm with the ball, 1 leg in front hamstring stretch. That'd be 30 seconds each side. Wrist stretch, a little bit of an ankle stretch there, sitting on the back of the ankle stretch. Overhead wall rotation. I'll put these all up so you can see, but I have noticed improvements. I was getting a sore back when I was running, so that's why I've really started to dig deep into stretching and, speaking to Jared and the importance of movement and mobility and that sort of thing. So I started this. So yeah, so we're all going well. That's where we're at. Chasing Goals podcast, episode 9. Thanks for listening. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Can't wait for episode 10 of our podcast with a new guest. Looking forward to it, and we'll see you then.